All right, we are at the end of the 2023 season. Let me just go full screen here. And as you can see, the Orioles have made the playoffs. They won the AL East by 8 games, even though we slumped down the stretch a bit. But won 92 games. Differential wise, plus 169. That's pretty nice. And actually, so 96 wins was our Pythagorean win expectation. 169 came in third in the majors for run differential, plus 169. Crushed it at home, 54 wins, below 500 on the road. And so let's go to the info page here to see from the team level stats. As you can see, July was awesome, 18-5. August was pretty rough, but then we got hot. September started hot and then ended badly. And those months were a mixed bag. Runs scored ended up third in the AL with 889. Runs allowed third in the AL, so third in both first and bullpen ERA, just ninth in starters ERA. My starters really slumped in August and September. Like same old story here, huh? And everything's really impressive here, except for maybe base on balls. Don't walk a lot, but when you're hitting, much doesn't really matter. Fielding was pretty good, near the top of the league. And once again, gave up a lot of home runs. Camden Yards seems to do that, and I feel like in this year's version, even more than others. The difference in the home runs guys give up at that ballpark versus others. One tough thing was, and go to it here, Byron Buxton went out on July 29th, and I didn't get his diagnosis didn't come down until August 1st, the day after the trade deadline, and he was out for the year, which is a major bummer because I didn't have a lot else stocked away for center fielding. So what I did was I went out and I got Derek Hill, who was playing independent ball, and the year before had played really well in Double-A and hadn't really gotten much time above that. And he's a really good center fielder, really good outfielder, decent center fielder. So I decided to bring him in because he was cheap. And then he got hurt. So he went from playing independent ball to playing in a pennant race and got injured, unfortunately. So then what I did was I went and I called up Reese Albert. Reese Albert, you can see here, was my third round pick in 2020. Here's 2023. He started in Bowie and was doing really well. And I promoted him to AAA, and he was not doing much. But he could play center field pretty well, but as good or better than anybody I had. So I called him up, and he did okay. His runs created plus was 92 in just 80 plate appearances, but he also got hurt for a little bit too. So then I just had to mix stuff around. And let me go ahead and I have my settings here differently. I want my there we go, my default view here. So the center field thing was interesting. I think Hayes ended up playing center field some after Albert went down. But Reese Albert, he's healthy again now, and I think he'll be my center fielder at least versus righties in the playoffs. So this was the first guy to make it to the majors that I had drafted, and I'm not sure he's like an everyday center fielder, but I think he's an all right piece moving forward. Will probably, be a fourth outfielder type for me. But anyways, jumping into the hitters here for the season. We'll go by WAR start. Alex Verdugo, like an MVP caliber season with 7 wins above replacement. Actually, I'm going to do it by runs created plus. And led in runs created plus. Then Trevor Larnach put up 4.5 WAR and was 45% above average. He hit 42 home runs. Mountcastle hit 40. All three of these guys were Verdugo, Larnach, and Mountcastle were all well over 100 RBIs. And they were all over 40 doubles. Like those three guys were just friggin' awesome for me in the lineup. Those are my 1, 3, and 4 hitters pretty much. Corey Seager, some of those stats are from the Dodgers. For me, in 77 games, he was 1.5 WAR, which is decent, but his bat fell off, which has happened when I traded for Correa too. So who knows? He's probably going to opt out still, I think. If not, I've got him for 3 more years. I don't know if I want him for that long. Hayes, Rutschman, and Matan all had slightly above average seasons at the plate. Matan put up still almost 4 WAR because his fielding was really good. He hit 33 doubles, 17 home runs. and he's a lefty, and he was just terrible against lefties this year, like miserably bad. Against righties, he had almost as much as he did last year when he put up like 6.9 WAR on the season, was like rookie of the year. So I might have to sit him out some against lefties next year. And maybe if he plays like 125, 130 games, he'll be more effective with someone platooning with him who can do better against lefties. Rylan Bannon, he was down in the minors for me, and then came back up. I think that was in the last update. And he ended up, he was minus .6 WAR like in like July. So he was really good. He was one of the best hitters in baseball in August, I think, July or August. So he bounced back and had an okay season overall. Park was, a utility guy. He played some second base when Bannon was down. He was all right. And then Caden Grenier came up and played some utility time for me too. So those are the hitters. Really, it was the Verdugo, Larnach, Mountcastle show, and then Hayes, Rutschman, and Matan were all solid. So then it goes to, let's go to the pitching and rank by WAR. German Marquez, as you can see, really tailed off. He was on pace for like 7 WAR, 8 WAR, 6 WAR off and on throughout the season. His ERA was over 6 in August and September. And as you can see, he is suspended for the first 4 games of the playoffs, which is not ideal. We're playing the Angels in the first round. In the last week of the season, we were playing the Angels, and he beamed somebody, and a brawl started, and they suspended him for 7 games with like 3 or 4 games to go in the year. So tensions will be high, I guess, between the O's and the Angels since they just had a bench-clearing brawl. But so our ace will pitch game 5 if it gets that far. Connor Jones, reliever, putting up 2.6 WAR. He's made the All-Star game the last 2 seasons. That was a waiver claim, and he's just freaking awesome. Luis Castillo had a decent season. His ERA was 5.46, but his FIP was a lot lower. His BABIP was high. Had some bad luck on balls in play. But 2 WAR from him. Jairo Diaz actually became my closer later in the year. Was awesome. 1.9 WAR in 58 innings is crazy. Not crazy, but it's pretty darn good. ERA was below 2. DL Hall and Alex Wood both had pretty average seasons. Wood is a free agent. I don't think he'll be back. And then Smith and Feltman were both guys in the back end of the bullpen who were pretty good. Feltman had bad luck on balls in play. His BABIP was 359, but he was striking out 12.5 guys per 9. Hammer was a solid bullpen arm. Weaver, pretty mediocre season from him in terms of WAR with the .9. The FIP at 5.3. His strikeouts dropped this year. So not great from him. Andrew Miller is my lefty specialist and was great in that role. Grayson Rodriguez was long relief and got some starts, 4 starts, 78 innings, 3.58 ERA, 0.5 WAR. That's cool. Matt Barnes was not good. He lost the closer role. He was giving up too many home runs. He was walking a ton of guys. The BABIP was high, bad luck and bad performance. And then just to look at other guys who were like here's the 40-man, other guys who contributed. Johnny Reiser did not come up, but he was awesome in AAA. Kyle Isbell was up and down throughout the year. He was my 4th outfielder for a lot of the year, but he's a lefty, and I needed a righty bat on the bench with Albert up. So with Reese Albert up playing center field. So that's when he got demoted, but he was pretty solid when he was up for me. He got 229 plate appearances, put up .9 WAR. Runs created plus right around league average at 99. So he's a dude who will be around. And then who else contributed here? Colton Hawk is a reliever who will probably be up next year. He had a really good season. Bailey Falter, Brendan McKay, Colton Eastman, all these guys were kind of like swingmen, like long relievers who were up and down when I needed fresh arms. And they're all fine. All guys I've traded for. McKay, of course, was like a 3rd starter, and I traded for him and just fell off a cliff. Pop seems like a good reliever who, when I need bullpen arms, will be up. Seabold was another long reliever. And as you can see here, Asa Lacy is on the DL, herniated disc. He came up on September 1st. He got 2 starts. He pitched out of the pen some. He pitched 17 innings to a 4.24 ERA. He struck out a ton of guys, 12.7 per 9, but 2.6 home runs per 9 is concerning, even though it was only 17 innings, especially because he's a fly ball pitcher. I do think, and I'll get into this more in another post, but you can adjust the offensive environment in the game. And from reading around, and you can modify that, kind of modify how offensive versus pitching, what's the word I'm looking for? Just how much offense there is in your league. You can kind of set it to different levels. And because offense has been so high in MLB lately, in real life, this game kind of progresses off of that, and it seems to get more and more. So I might tone that down a bit going into next season, just because there's a lot of offense here. So Asa Lacy made it up. So two of my draft picks from 2020 were up. They were both fine, and they'll both probably be up next year. At least Lacy will be in the rotation. So then, and when I say there's like a lot of offense, like if I go to the Orioles history, and then go to that's not the one I wanted. I wanted that. There we go. If we go down here, let's look. 2023, Alex Verdugo, 10th best slugging percentage in the history of the O's. Let's see here. Where else? There are a bunch more here. His WAR, he knocked Nick Matan out of the top 10 and took over 8th place. And then Ryan Mountcastle led the at-bats. Let's see what else we got. There's some more down here in the counting stats. Verdugo with hits, 9th best of an O's player ever. And then Ryan Mountcastle total bases, Alex Verdugo total bases. They're second and third all time, single season. Doubles, Mountcastle's there 7th, Larnach is there 9th. And then home runs, I think Larnach is 8th all time, and RBIs, Mountcastle 7th all time season wise, single season. And Mountcastle even now qualifies for some of the career ones. He has enough at bats now. He's 9th in average all-time Orioles leaderboard. He's on here in slugging percentage. He's 2nd. He's out of Frank Robinson. And OPS, he's somewhere too. He's 4th in OPS. So, it seems pretty extreme. Ryan Mountcastle, great player, but when the offensive environment is so good that he's putting up the 2nd best slugging percentage in Orioles history, that's just probably a little higher than I want the offense to be in this game. And then just to look at the farm system real quick, some guys, Brady Corrigan. This is such a weird thing. He's still he's now my top rated pitching prospect. He did okay in AA this year. He's now at AAA. He's almost 25. He just walks too many people. I drafted him in the 20th round of 2021. My scout still loves him. All the scouts around the league still love him. He's yet to really pitch like a top prospect. We'll see. The trade value out there isn't good enough for him for me to give up on his potential. Gunnar Henderson was in AA and was doing fine, so I promoted him to AAA, and he caught fire. 3.1 WAR in just 61 games, 128 runs created plus. In 272 plate appearances, he had 17 doubles. He walked 13% of his at bats. If and when Seager opts out this offseason, I think he'll probably be my starting shortstop, at least versus righties next year. He's a lefty. So that's awesome to see. Drew Bowser is another guy who's going to move into the picture soon. First round supplemental pick in 2020, and he was solid in AA. He was 21 years old most of the season, and he can play all 3 infield positions, all except first base. Let's see. Who else? Jack Perkins was my first round pick, 8th overall. And he's now 23. He's almost 24. He's pitching an A-ball. And overall, the numbers don't look great. 4.33 ERA, 1.6 WAR. But down the stretch, he was great. August, he pitched 37.2 innings, put up a 1.19 ERA. His FIP was higher than that, but he was getting better results towards the end of the year, which is encouraging. And then Mike Angeletta and Josh Milken didn't do too much. They were my first 2-round picks this year, I believe. Dylan Lawson is looking like he might be a pitcher. I picked him in round 14 in 2021, and he was tearing up in A-ball, so I put him in AA, and he pitched really well there. He put up 3.4 WAR between the 2 levels, so we'll take that. Jamie Chisholm, he was, of course, the first overall pick in 2021 when there was just really not a stud guy to pick, as I say every time I talk about the draft because I think I'm still bitter about it. And he repeated low A-ball, which is not great. He's in 21, he's low A-ball. But the encouraging thing is he put up a great, let's go to the basic. Did that take? Oh, yeah. Put up a great August. 87 plate appearances, and he put up a 179 OPS plus. 5 doubles, 3 triples, 4 home runs in 74 at-bats, and he walked a bunch. So that's good to see. Maybe he's salvageable as a player. We'll see about that. So now to go back to the league. So we're going to face the Angels, who finished 94 and 68. And just to look at a few of the league leaders here, Alonso hit 58 home runs. Um, Arenado had 9.4 WAR. Tatis's right behind him at 9.1. Um, and then pitching leaders. Let's see here. Jack Flaherty led the league with a 2.19 ERA. Jack Flaherty had 7.9 WAR. Herman Marquez led the league with 3 shutouts. That's awesome. 3 complete games, obviously. So yeah, and whoa, this guy for the Phillies struck out 273 guys. Not even sure who this guy is. Oh, so he signed at the Phillies in 2018 as an international prospect. Wow, and he's tearing it up. 6.3 WAR for the Phillies this season. That's crazy. So yeah, so that's the season. I'll probably actually do live broadcasts of some of the playoffs. Just do like a couple games at a time. But the O's are in the playoffs 2023. We finally made it after falling a game short last year. And we're going to LA and without our number one starter, but we've got Alex Verdugo, so feeling good, feeling good.